Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast, where we explore holistic approaches to health, wellness, and personal growth. My name is Sophia Soul, the co-creator of Sacred You, and on today's show, I am delighted to welcome the wonderful Dr. Elizabeth Davidson, joining us from Vermont. Dr. Elizabeth is a holistic doctor, a revolutionary thinker, functional blood work specialist, an intuitive healer, as well as being an author. She began her journey into holistic health after suffering from autoimmune illnesses as a child, and has since dedicated her life to creating holistic solutions and training foundational health coaches. We will be exploring how mindset, nutrition, and natural healing can empower our health in ways traditional medicine often overlooks. I do hope you enjoy the conversation for today. And if you would like to support Sacred You, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and to find out more about everything the Sacred You offers, check us out at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U.love. Sacred You is your spiritual family that's just one click away. So let's get started with today's conversation. Welcome to today's episode of the Pathway to Wellbeing podcast. And with us today is the beautiful Dr. Elizabeth Davidson, who's tuning in from Vermont. So welcome, Dr. Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for welcoming me here today.
I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm really very interested in, and that's all about health and things. So what I'd really like to know is, first of all, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, and how did you get into this whole area of health and being and choosing a new direction, a new way of living?
Sure. Yes, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Davidson. I grew up in a teeny tiny town in the woods in Vermont, which is the northeastern US. And from a very young age, I was pretty sick. So I got several chronic and autoimmune diagnoses as a child, like ages 4 and 7 and 11. I took a lot of antibiotics as a kid. And I remember when I was 10 and I got another prescription for antibiotics, and I said no, because every time I took them, I felt worse. And I was like, I'm not taking these anymore. They make me feel worse. And my mom couldn't force me. So I didn't take them, and I started experimenting with other ways of health. So my first thing was to change my diet. And I started doing elimination diets when I was 10. I didn't know that's what they were called, but that's what they were now that I look back. And I started studying herbs and just experimenting on myself back then. And that's taken me on the journey to where I am now. So I have a doctorate in chiropractic, and I practiced as a chiropractor for a long time, but never felt like I could get to the roots of people's problems as deeply as I wanted to. And then when COVID shut down my hands-on practice, I dove deeper. I'd always studied nutrition and herbs and other types of medicine, but I then got a functional blood work certification and clairvoyance. I guess it's not a certification, but I completed a clairvoyance course. And so I could dive deep into intuition, and just kept furthering my education in that way. And so now I have created a system for really building health from the ground up. And that's me in a nutshell. And I'm sure we can dive into some details.
Oh, we can. And isn't that amazing? You were 10 and you were starting to make a decision about your health then. That is really amazing. So I just like to honor you for that. And now you're bringing this to the world, which is incredible, because I agree. Like, I grew up not with an autoimmune disorder, but another genetic disorder, and was on all types of medication, including antibiotics when I was very young, because they didn't know what was wrong. And the effect that has on your body, and to be able to realize that as a 10-year-old is amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And can I ask you, Dr. Elizabeth, with your experience in today's world, what do you think is the biggest limitation or the current problem or the diagnosis? What's the biggest limitation of our current health system?
I believe it's the mindset. So our current health system really focuses on disease and diagnosis and figuring out what's wrong. And then most of the time matching that up with a medication. And that doesn't have anything to do with health. If all you're focusing on is what's wrong and putting a name on it, then you're not building anyone's health. It's not the focus at all. I remember when I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I had gone in and described all the pain that I had in my muscles and my joints and how long it had been going on, all those things. And then the doctor said, "Oh, you have fibromyalgia." Wait, I just told you I had pain in my fibers and my muscles, and you translated it into Latin to make it sound fancy and told me I have fibromyalgia, because fibro, fiber, myo, muscle, algia, pain. And then, of course, had a set of prescriptions to alleviate that, which I never took, because it's like, to me, when it just got translated, my symptoms that I came in with got translated into Latin. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. Why would I take medications if you just made it up? And one of the huge problems with that is when people are told that they have a disease, they tend to believe it. And doctors have a lot of power in that they can tell you have whatever disease, fibromyalgia or migraines or lupus or something, and you believe that, and they'll tell you what the outline of your symptoms are going to look like. They may tell you, if it's something like cancer, they may tell you how long you have to live. And once you have that, and your mind is so powerful that it can become true. And when you believe that a disease is yours, then you take ownership of that and all the symptoms that come along with it. And what if we could do that differently? What if we didn't give people diagnoses or give people the amount of time they have to live or tell people what their quality of life is going to be? What if we taught them how to build health instead?
Oh, amazing. I'm just letting that sink in because it's so true.
Yeah.
We live in such a world today where people just go down the road and get a pill because I've got a pain or I've got a cold or something, rather than building our health, empowering our health so our body can take care of itself without needing all these pills. So thank you for sharing that. And in your experience, with all your past experiences, all the conditions that you were diagnosed with, how is changing or shifting to a holistic model of health impacted the way that you live?
Oh, it's really the only way to go for me. Part of my physiology is I'm extremely sensitive to chemicals and stuff. So that's part of why I recognize that medications made me feel so much worse when I was so young. Because anytime I've tried one, I just feel terrible. So I had to really focus on building my health. And in that process, I've learned a lot. I've gotten tons and tons of education, but I also don't have migraines anymore. And I don't have fibromyalgia anymore. And I don't have IBS anymore. And I don't have dermatitis anymore. And I don't have any of the autoimmune factors anymore. So I've really healed myself in a big way. And I'm also a single mom, and genetics are a big thing. And people tend to harp on genetics as being like what your life is going to look like. But she's been raised very holistically. And now she's never sick. She's the healthiest person I've ever met. And sometimes she will have some symptoms, like when she got COVID, she had a fever for a morning. but that was her body fighting it off. And I feel like our medical system, and our culture look at symptoms as being bad and they need to be gotten rid of. But symptoms are information. And lots of times they're your body reacting, like having a fever because there's an infection process going on. That's really good because it can kill the bacteria or virus that is trying to invade your body. So for her, she got that fever for a morning and then she was fine. That's all the symptoms she got. And so she's just seeing that starting from such a young age, doing all the holistic health things, seeing how healthy she is mind-blowing. And I started having migraines when I was 4, and she's 16 and she's never had a headache in her life. So it's very rewarding to see that.
Yeah, and such a wonderful way to live and to bring up your daughter. So again, I'd like to honor you for doing that, for bringing up your daughter in a holistic way. So she doesn't need medication.
She's never had a medication, never, ever.
Yes. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Elizabeth. Now, can I ask you, talking about holistic health, a holistic way of well-being, what does that actually mean for you? What does that look like in your everyday life?
It really means recognizing how amazing our bodies are at communicating with us and healing and all the processes that they're doing all the time that really are growing our health all the time. A lot of people don't think about how amazing our bodies are, but you can eat a meal and within a few hours, your body has broken all that food down and put the nutrients where they need to go and gotten rid of the waste and turned some of it into energy for you. And it's done all that stuff and you don't have to think about it. It just does it every day, every single day, every meal you eat. Keeps you breathing all the time. For us ladies, we can grow humans in our bodies. Like, it's amazing. So really recognizing how brilliant our bodies are and shifting into that mindset of, oh, my body can do this. I'm not sick. I may have symptoms, but what do those symptoms mean? And how amazing is it that my body can tell me what's going on or can react to, say, an infection with a fever that gets rid of the infection? Because our bodies, they do that kind of stuff all the time. We're always healing. And most of us don't think about it, I feel, and certainly not the focus of the medical system to look at what your body is doing. And so living holistically, that's really the focus, is always trying to be in tune with what my body is doing and appreciating it. That's actually one of the mindset exercises I give people, is to start appreciating at least one thing a day that your body does and write it down. Because if you write down one thing a day that your body's doing that's really good for you, at the end of a year, you have 365 or 6 things. And that's a pretty nice long list to go read back through and really grow your confidence in your body rather than being problem focused. We tend to not think about health until we lose it. And if you maintain your health all along, then you don't lose it. I've been saying for years, it's easier to stay well than to get well. And that, to me, is pretty much the basis of holistic thinking. Yeah.
It's just thinking about it and being well and not having to rely on medication. And can you recommend or suggest one practice, if someone just wanted to do one practice in their life to start to live a more holistic way of life? What would that be? Just one practice?
Yeah, that one I just said about writing down something you appreciate about your body every day. So it really shifts your mindset to appreciation, gratitude, even awe about all the things that your body does, rather than focusing on this pain or this stuffy nose or this indigestion or whatever it may be, rather than focusing on those, focusing on the good things. And sure, you can acknowledge what uncomfortable things your body's doing, because those are information too. But rather than just thinking, oh, there's something wrong, thinking about what that means. The fever example is probably the simplest one. Oh, I have a fever. Yeah, that does not feel good. But what's it doing for me? Oh, it's killing off any bacteria and viruses that are invading. And that's brilliant. So write that down. Oh, my body's doing this brilliant stuff being its very own antibiotic and antiviral.
Absolutely. And it's so true. When we get fevers, it's the body's natural way of resisting any bacteria and things like that. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. And it's really incredible how we can look at, we talk about holistic health, but it's all about the whole being of a person. So that's emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So that is really good. And in what way can, thinking about holistic health impact in all areas of our life?
When you start shifting your mindset and really appreciating all the good things that your body's doing all the time, it changes your whole perspective. And living in more appreciation and gratitude and happiness, really, that you're doing so well for yourself, it changes everything, because it doesn't just change your physical state, it's your emotional state and your mental state. And like you said, all of that is connected. And I don't see those as separate things. You can't have one without the other. They're really all one thing. So emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, they're all like this, like it's all together. And you can't shift one without shifting all of them. And living in that appreciation and curiosity really helps grow your health. And when you get more of what you focus on, when you focus on the good things, you get more of that. And there's lots more to it, but I think the mindset piece is the bottom level of the foundation. I see health, like I talk about building health, because I see it like a building, like you have a foundation of health and then you move up from there. And I feel like most of the time, even when people are thinking about shifting their health, they don't start at the bottom. Like a lot of things people think about, they think about shifting their diet. That's really up on the first floor. It's not down in the foundation. Mindset, sleep, hydration, things like that are really in the foundation. Immune health. And so I teach people how to build all of that. And once you get the foundation really solid, lots of times the other stuff just does itself, it fixes itself. So you're fine.
And it's true when we do have that strong foundation. And I really like how you talk about it. It really comes down to the mindset as well. It's not just our physical health, as in the food that we eat, even though that plays a huge part to it, but it's really our mindset. And even down to the simple thing of being grateful for it.
Yeah.
Writing down what you're grateful for. It's all part of the holistic well-being. So thank you for sharing that. And in what ways does living a holistic lifestyle for you, as well as helping you in your physical well-being, in what ways do you think that contributes to world peace?
Have you ever been chronically ill? Yeah. How did you feel? Did you want to give back to the world? Did you feel happy? Did you want to be in like close relationship with people? I know I couldn't. I couldn't really talk to people. I didn't have much of a social life. I was miserable. I didn't have any energy. And really building that mindset of holistic health and experiencing that, it makes people happier. And when you're happier, you're kinder. And when you're kinder, you're more peaceful, and you spread that. It's like that drop in the lake that ripples out. Anyone who's happy and kind, when you are kind to someone else and they see that kindness and recognize it, they're going to be kind to someone else too, because it makes their day. They're happier. And so more of that health, like if you feel good, you're just going to be happier. And so you're going to be kinder. And if everyone was doing that, world peace.
And it's so true.
It improves all our relationships. And when you feel good, you can care more deeply for yourself and for others. When you don't, I feel like being chronically ill kind of makes you self-centered in a negative way, because you have to focus on yourself because you're just trying to get through the day, but you don't have the energy to give back. And so it's just this kind of slog of trying to stay alive and do the very basics to get by. But when you start feeling better, it's like, oh, I have so much to give, and so much love and so much kindness and joy, and spreading that around to everyone just makes everyone feel better. So
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you can certainly see, even though we're on the other side of the planet and in completely different time zones, that you have that love and that joy that you just share automatically, that you radiate out into the world and contribute to the world in all different ways. So thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Dr. Elizabeth, if someone was going, let's go on to the practical tips of living healthy. So if you could use one practice, just one practice for the rest of your life to experience holistic health, what would that be?
I've already said the mindset piece a few times. I do think that's the biggest thing. The second thing would be getting your sleep right. Sleep does so many things. And I've never been to a doctor that even asked me about my sleep. And sleep, it's when we clear out our brains, it's when we reset our immune systems, it's when we, of course, rest. But the details of it, there's so many details to sleep and how it works, but it's something I've taken a deep dive into, and I appreciate it more and more. And it's something that I teach to all my clients, and then teach them how to teach their clients about sleep, because it's so important. So there are 5 sleep cycles in a night, and you need all 5 of them. And if you miss out on them, it can have devastating results to how your brain functions, how your immune system functions, how your digestion functions, and all of that stuff is connected. So after mindset, getting your sleep right is the biggest thing, and something that gets missed a lot. And a lot of people think that things like sleeping medications or alcohol help them sleep. They may help you be unconscious, but it's not real sleep. It's sedation. And that's a big difference, because when you're sedated, your brain doesn't do all the things that it should do during sleep. You really need that real quality sleep. So that's the second level of the foundation of health, and very important. Nothing else is going to work right if you don't have that in place.
Could be quite a reason why people wake up with hangovers if they use alcohol to help them sleep, is because they're not actually sleeping. They're just being sedated, and your brain hasn't gone through all those different cycles and stuff. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I'd love to know, Dr. Davidson, if we, just a fun question, a fun fact, if you could have your own holistic health superhero, what powers would they have?
Oh, holistic health superhero. I guess it would be getting the message out to everyone, because I feel like that's the biggest missing piece, is that most people don't really think about their health until it's gone. And then they go to the medical system and they get a diagnosis and a medication to go with it, which just makes their health worse. You've seen the things where you take the medication, and then you got to take a medication for the side effects of that medication, and then another one until you're on like 8 medications because of side effects. It's crazy. So yeah, I would have this superhero flying around and just telling everyone how to shift their mindset into being healthy, and how to ask questions about their health rather than just trust whatever their doctor says, and really tuning into that intuition. Because I've talked to so many people who have gone to a doctor and gotten a diagnosis and or a prescription and just been like, oh, I don't like this. This doesn't feel right. But they did it anyway because the doctor's the expert. But that intuition, that's your gut feeling, a gut feeling, intuition, same thing. It's your body knowing, it's your soul knowing that's not right. And if everyone could just trust that and not do the things that don't feel right and always do the things that do feel right, we'd be a lot better off.
And that is so very true. I've experienced that for myself with all the operations that I've had, until one day my body just said no more.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know any better about operations. That's what I was told that I had to do. And then one day it's like, no, there is another way. Now I totally believe with the holistic health. And for me, sound is my medicine. rather than
Oh,
taking pills and narcotics. Sound.
yeah,
Thank you.
beautiful.
And in your future, what does the future of Dr. Davidson look like? What's coming up for you?
I have big vision. So my vision is to really build a new healthcare system that actually focuses on health and building health. I think the healthcare system we have is really broken and unfixable. The focus is all wrong. The method is all wrong. And so I've created a system to teach people so that they can help their clients build health. And yeah, rebuilding or not rebuilding, building a whole new health system, a right side up health system. Is how I think about it. Because the one we have is really upside down. It doesn't focus on health at all. Focuses on what's wrong, focuses on telling you're sick. So turn that right side up and build a whole new system. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. And I would be honored if Sacred You could be part of that with you and support you in your mission, because you're speaking my language. Totally, absolutely.
Yay.
I totally agree with you. Our health system, for me personally, excuse me, I go to the doctor to get a blood test because your blood will tell you how your health is. And that's the only reason why I really try and go to a doctor.
Yeah.
They just love prescribing pills, which is not good for your health.
It's been interesting with the blood test part. So I've had so many people bring me their blood work that their medical doctor said was fine because it was all in normal ranges. But there's so much information in the blood work that even if it is in normal ranges, you can get so much information about someone's health. So it's one of the things that I teach in my course that I've created. So I have a certification course for foundational health coaches. And that's a piece of it, is teaching about how to read blood work from a functional perspective. So you actually look at what it means rather than just, is it normal or not? It's a big piece for sure.
It is certainly. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now tell us more about your programs and what you offer.
Oh, yeah. So it's really fun. I have a certification course and it teaches holistic professionals. And these can be people who are already in practice. Like I practiced exclusively as a chiropractor for 13 years. And I love working with chiropractors to help them shift their practice to a deeper level. But it can also be people who are new to holistic health and want to learn to be a coach. I have a program for them, and it has a few aspects to it. So it really talks about building that foundation and all the strategies to help your clients build that foundation. But what it's designed to do is get your clients deeper levels of really lasting health, so they don't have to keep seeking care over and over again. They will know how to take care of themselves. And for the health practitioner, it gives them freedom to work from wherever they want to work, because it can be done in an office, but it can also be done just like you and I are right now on Zoom. So I help people all over the world. And so people can work where they want to work, but also when they want to work. And so freedom is a big thing for me. I love having the freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And so that was part of creating this course, because as a chiropractor, I had to be hands-on all the time. And I could only help people who were like in this small radius because they had to get to me. And now I always felt really confined by that, almost claustrophobic. And now I can help people wherever they are and at a whole other level, because there's so many other things. And I think chiropractic care and hands-on care is wonderful. And I still do some chiropractic for a few people. And I do recommend chiropractic for my worldwide clients because it's great, as is stuff like acupuncture and massage. All those hands-on things are wonderful, but they also confine the practitioner to an office, and they have just one thing that they can do. So by going through my certification, they have more options on how to help people and how to live more vibrant lives themselves. So yeah, it's really fun. I've been getting it out to people through some master classes where they learn the basics of what I'm doing. And if they want to dive deeper, then I have the whole course. So I have a few of those master classes coming up.
It all sounds very exciting and very interesting. So thank you for sharing that. And for anyone who is watching or listening to our podcast, do click on the links below and check out what Dr. Elizabeth is offering. Because as you said, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, but we can still help people. It's just knowing the foundations and building from there. So thank you for that, for sharing that. And if there's anything else, Dr. Elizabeth, if there's any other question that I could have asked you, how would you answer?
Oh, the hardest question of all. That really covers it in a lot of ways. As you heard, I'm really excited about building this new system. And I've had so many people say, whoa, that's really big. And I know it is, but change doesn't happen without a big vision. And it also doesn't happen without help. And so it is a big vision, which means I can't do it all by myself. So I appreciate you so much for having me here and in your Facebook group and connecting all these people through your Facebook group and your podcast so that we can get the big vision out there. Because one doctor in Little Vermont is not going to build a whole new healthcare system by herself. I need lots of holistically minded professionals who want to get on board with my vision. And I've created the system and the strategy, but I need partners in this. I need people to train. And I do have a few like bonus people that come in to do mindset work and marketing work and shift money blocks and do some money manifestation work, because this is a great way to get paid what you're worth too. When you really give someone back their health, they want to pay you. So it's a pretty all-encompassing system that I've created, but I'm looking for those people who want in, and connecting through things like this is great. Connecting with other professionals is one of my favorite things to do, and bringing us together. So that's the other big piece of what I'm doing, is not just, all the building part, but the connecting and building a community. That's how we'll grow.
Absolutely. Thank you. And one doctor in Vermont may not be able to build a healthcare system, but one amazing doctor in Vermont is certainly starting a movement and starting the ripple effect, sending out those ripples, and then magic will happen, especially with the help of the universe. It will grow, and I can really feel it. I can really see it. So again, Dr. Elizabeth, I'd really like to just honor you for bringing your vision, not just to Sacred You and the Sacred You community, but to the world. And I can imagine how the world, when we really focus on a holistic way of dealing with our health. So thank you. It has been a real honor to be sharing this with you, and we will certainly be putting all your links.
Thank you.
So for everyone who is watching, do click on those links and check out what Dr. Elizabeth is offering and help join the movement. I'm going to call it a holistic health movement revolution. Join the revolution and bring about holistic health and being for the world.
And you nailed it. My academy is called the Revolution Health Building Academy. So how perfect.
Ever so much. It has been a pleasure to talk to you today, and I do hope that we get to talk to you again sometime very soon with more updates on this revolution that you are creating to help people to live a holistic way of life.
That would be really fun. And I'll keep you updated in the Facebook group, and hopefully, we can connect again for another conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you. What a wonderful conversation with Dr. Elizabeth Davidson. And if you would like to join her holistic health revolution, do click on the links below and connect with Dr. Elizabeth to help her bring about her vision to the world, because it's going to be amazing. And while you're at it, if you'd like to continue to listen or to receive these podcasts, please support Sacred You by hitting that subscribe button, giving the video, giving us a like, or checking out our website at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U, www.love for more valuable resources. Hope you enjoyed today's episode and have a beautiful and wonderful day.